My name is Schena. I'm one of the co-founders at Swipii. I'm also the COO and the head of product at Swipii. We were the winners last year. It's with great pleasure that I'm here. I need to thank the team, Fiona, Evelyn, everyone. They always do a great job, and it was a massive help. I got this designed. I didn't really think it through that I'm coming to Edinburgh, and I'm showing Glasgow, so I'm already setting myself for a loss, but just bear with me. So I was working last night, and I was thinking, what am I gonna say? And I thought, I'll talk about Swipii, but I think that because most of you here are actually thinking on ideas and wanting to start your business, I'd rather do a bit of storytelling on the mistakes I've done at Swipii, so you guys hopefully don't do them again. So quickly, a raise of hand here of who has heard about Swipii? Okay, good. Very briefly, Swipii is a very simple loyalty program for small and medium businesses. We place a tablet at the point of sale, and it's facing you, the customer, and you have a free keychain or card or a phone app, and you can scan this keychain or card to gain rewards at all your favorite locations. The advantage for you is that one card works everywhere, and the rewards are extremely fun. So places will give a free high five, with the staff. You'll get free coffee, design a sandwich after yourself, free return ticket to India in an Indian restaurant, anything you want. They're completely unique and tailored to the business. For the merchant, it's the first time that they can gather a massive database of their emails, of their customers' emails, to then re-engage with their customers. This is basically giving the power of the Tesco Club card to your small local shop. We started just two of us, myself and my co-founder Chitresh, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. And we're now in 15 markets. We have hundreds of locations. We're about to expand to Scandinavia. They're coming down next week to plan the launch in Copenhagen. We have 15 staff, 2 offices, and over 50,000 users, and going for a round A of funding, which is really exciting. So to go over the mistakes we've done, I like to split our journey in several kind of different segments. And the first one is the pre-product stage. Who here has an idea that they want to launch? Raise your hands. Yeah, okay, about half, all right. Out of those, who has actually launched something in the market? 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So, a quick guess, that's less than 1%, right? And that's the first mistake we made, right? When you start a product, a lot of people think that you need a lot of money or you need some sort of cash injection. Don't get me wrong, if you're looking to start a mini nuclear power plant or something crazy like that, you'll probably need a bunch of funding. But there's a book we read, it's called Going from a Plan A to a Plan That Works, and it's based on the MVP, Minimum Valuable Product. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this. And I was talking to someone in London actually the other day who had an idea to do kind of a Tupperware party kind of idea, but for cheese and wine. Okay, and she was saying, it's so hard for me to start. There's so many regulations, and I'd have to get lawyers in for food regulations and all. I said, what are you talking about? Just go to Tesco, buy some cheese, go to the co-op, get a bottle of wine, go in the market and test it. Just see what happens. Yeah, just do it. And then if that works, do it again. Do it again, do it again. And a lot of things that entrepreneurs don't understand at the beginning, and which is we clearly didn't understand at first, is that his business is so scrappy. It's so messy at the beginning, okay? I mean, our original idea was a nightclub platform. And we went across all the nightclub managers, and offered them a bottle of champagne so they could actually meet with us. And we said, what do you think of this? And we had papers everywhere, it was really messy. And then we met, and eventually we realized that customer retention in the nightclub industry was really, really bad. So what we did is we changed the idea, and that's the second stage. You rethink your idea, and it became Swipii. Well, the name was at the time Yog, and then overnight we changed it because Yog yogurts were a real pain in the neck and couldn't use it for trademark purposes. So really don't hesitate to make it really messy. The minimum valuable product is a scrappy idea that you just get out there. Then you rethink the product, and then you launch. to come back to the idea of you don't necessarily need money, if you need money, you go back to the scrappy idea. My investor is Ronnie Somerville, and he's the founder of 5pm.co.uk. Okay, it's a big booking restaurant in Scotland. And we sat with Chitresh, my co-founder, and we said, okay, we need some money. Who do we know who's rich? Yeah. Who do we know that has a bunch of cash to spare on two young guys that have no clue on what they're doing? And we looked at our LinkedIn, and yeah, we didn't. My parents aren't rich. I didn't know anyone. So then at the time, my ex worked in quite a fancy restaurant, and I said, do you know anyone that looks kind of rich, that comes in the restaurant? And she said, yeah, quite a lot. I said, okay, well, this is my email. Why don't you give him my email address? Just take a punt, And someone got back to me. There was Amanda Mason. We met in Princess Square in Glasgow, and we pitched her our nightclub idea. She said, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't invest. Like, oh, crap. So he said, my boss, though, would invest. And then after emailing with Ronnie for months, we met him once in the Corinthian in Glasgow. And he said, what is your business in one sentence? And of course, I didn't plan for that. I had a whole pitch ready. I managed to say something. And he said, okay, sounds good. Let's do it. And so we went through the whole nightclub pitching and changed the idea. And here I am at Swipii, one of the UK's largest growing loyalty programs. Okay, so it's just to give you an idea of how messy things are at the beginning, and really to change that mindset that you need a perfect product to actually get started. Not at all. Once you launch, you're going to have to rethink again. Okay, your users are not going to use your product and the way you think they're going to use it. Okay, we place a tablet like this at the point of sale, and it uses the camera to scan your card. Okay, so you kind of hold the card about right here. I sat the first day where I placed an Android tablet in a cafe and watched people use it. People would take their card and swipe it on the screen, right, or go like this. I was like, I did not see this coming, It's like a problem. And there's no way around it. You can't plan for it. You just need to get it out there and see what people are going to do and then pivot. Once you rethink your product and you think you've got a good match, things are going to pop up. Universities, we're in universities now, Swipii. Never thought of that. We're in entire towns, councils, shopping malls. Never thought of that. And then you hit the other stage, which is my stage right now, is high growth. Okay. And I put a quote actually in the SIE thing. I don't know if you've read it. And I always say, starting a business is really, really overrated, and growing a successful business is really underrated, because growing a business is such a pain. It's so difficult. Just scalability issues. And then during that growth, you need to reach that growth. You need to be ready to say yes to almost everything. I'm not joking to say yes to everything. You need to sell stuff that you don't even have yet. Yeah. Richard Branson said, and I wrote this down, he said, if someone gives you a great opportunity, just say yes and figure out how to do it later. Right? Just figure it out later. I'll give you the best example where we were in Dundee, and we were at our first event last year. And this woman from Denmark, Copenhagen, showed up, and she just destroyed my product. She showed up, and she was like, this is not too good. I mean, why would you want to give your email? Why would you want to use a card? In Copenhagen, you just give your social security number, and that's it. You're signed up. And I'm like, oh my God. I've never heard that question before. So you just give your social security number. I guess everyone has a social security number, so you have to sign up to the damn product. And then I was about to give up. And I said, but you can get a free high five. And that was it. That pushed her button. And she sat me down, said, Louis, come here. And she's now my franchisee in Denmark. And they're coming down next week. It's crazy, yeah? And you know what she said? She's like, you guys, and this was like almost a year ago, and we had maybe 5,000 users. We were so small. And she said, you guys have a franchise program? You guys do franchise? I was like, yeah, absolutely. We definitely have a franchise program. Not at all. I didn't even know how to forget it. I called my investor. I said, yeah, I just agreed to a franchise in 4 different countries. What do we do? Got lawyers up, and you just figure it out after. And we're doing all right, Now, I only have, I think, about 5 minutes left, so things I wish, and now the next stage is round A, and I can't tell you anything about that because I actually don't know. All I can tell you is that we got some big accounting firm to go through all our paperwork and accounts and get ready to pitch to investors, but we're not at that stage yet, so I'll keep you posted. Things I wish I did better, and this will contradict a bit what I just told you about being scrappy at the beginning and just going for it. I wish I kind of planned a bit more in advance, but little things like what customer relationship management tool you're going to use, office stuff. Get ready for your internet to crash miserably. Like in the office, you grow from 2 staff to 15, and obviously your BT Home Hub is not going to function anymore. It sounds really stupid, but that put me 2 days just flat out, and then by the time I got a new one, or an extra line, we were out of work for a week. It was a disaster. So a whole bunch of things I wish I had planned for scalability. But that is contradictory to what I said at the beginning, so don't focus on it too much, but if you're going to build something, think, how is that going to work in a month, 2, 3 months? Something we did very well at Swipii, I'm quite proud to say it, is we sell. It is absolute crap to say that a good product will attract people. You need to sell it so much. If you're a programmer, a designer, and you don't have someone on your team that can't sell, you need to find someone that sells. We were lucky with Chitresh that my co-founder is an amazing salesperson. I think I do all right. So we just sold so much, and it's better to sell and be messy than to be super organized and have absolutely no sales, right? Because investors, they won't look at that. Investors, they don't care how messy it is. Just if you're making money, at the end of the day, that's what they want. And the last thing, I was thinking last night, what can I leave all these amazing people that are just ready to go out there and start a business? And it's been 2 years I've been working on something. And it's kind of this theory of secret sauce that if you apply it, you're almost guaranteed to make your idea work. I put a lot of work into this. And I realize that a lot of the similar entrepreneurs all have this trait. And I'm thinking of writing a book on it, maybe. And the secret sauce is just work a lot, right? I look at your faces, you look a bit disappointed there, but yeah. You just need to work, Who here knows Elon Musk? Yeah, great, okay, great guy. He's someone I look up to so much. I follow him on Twitter and stuff. I recommend you guys go on YouTube, and it's like a 40-minute video on his life, just a pile of crap. The guy just went through so much stuff. And he says one thing, he said about work is if you work so much, you're always ahead of the guy that's not going to work so much. So right outside, I was calculating, this week, I did 2 last weeks, I did 8 to 10 straight, right? It's 14-hour days. And if you compare to a guy that does 8-hour days, 5 days a week, it's 160 hours. Compared to my 2 last weeks, over a month would be 392 hours. I am 232 hours ahead of anyone that does a 40-hour week, right? That's almost a month. You think about it, right? And I do that with my co-founder and other people on the team, right? If you put in the work, I promise you, you will always do better than the guy that doesn't. It's that simple. And when you look at movie stars, wrote a few cases here. Robert De Niro, taxi driver. He worked 12-hour days for a month as a taxi driver, just for the movie, right? Success doesn't come by luck. It is everyone you look into them, I promise you they have a serious background of just putting in the hours. And it all comes down to sacrifice. It sounds really stereotypical, I know, but saying no to go out on a night out on a Tuesday, that's not hard. Going out and saying no to go out on a Saturday, okay, that's a bit harder. Saying no on Halloween, that's even harder. New Year, probably let's not push it. I did go out on New Year, but it's all that. As compared to your competition, only like 1% or something of businesses succeed. It's what are you ready to put in? compared to the others to really make it work. I was listening to a motivational speech the other day, just by curiosity, and the guy was bringing up a scenario that actually happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to you. Who here goes to the gym? Just quickly, raise of hands. Yeah. Who runs on the treadmill at the gym? Yeah. Okay. And this guy was saying, it's a set of mine. He's being all, like really passionate about what he's saying. He's saying, when you go to the gym and you go on the treadmill and you start running and you set your speed at, like, I don't know, 10 or 11 something, and then there's another guy on the treadmill across from you, and he's going a bit faster than you, and you start thinking, like, how long has that guy been there? All right, I'm not going to give up until that guy gives up, right? And for all you know, he could be a marathon runner, and you're just screwed, right? But the difference between you and the guy on the treadmill over there is you're ready to die on that treadmill, right? You're just ready to just give it all. And that's the mindset that you need to replicate in your business. And sometimes it's not fun, but it will always pay off. So the few things I'd like to leave you with is keep it scrappy at the beginning. Don't be embarrassed, right? I mean, we were so messy. It was so bad. Look up any story. You go back at the very beginning, very, very messy. People and connections are the key. I owe 90% of my sales to just relationships, friendships I've built, and people. If you're not on LinkedIn, do it now. The power of LinkedIn is unbelievable. Marketing, making yourself look big, is also very important, right? We'll go to sales pitches. The other day I flew to Nottingham, and my co-founder actually has a great story about this. He flew to, I think it was Plymouth, and the person there said, Chitresh, your boss must be so happy. You're an amazing salesperson, right? Your company is so big, and you're just probably the one that drives it all. Let alone the guy did not know that Chitresh was one of the co-founders, right? That's how big Swipii seemed to that guy. But we're not that big. But it's very important to try and put that image in people's minds. And finally, it all comes down to work. You need to work smart and long, okay? Because working long without working smart is actually really bad. You'll just end up burning out, which we've done as well. Sometimes you'll go through and you're like, this is just too much, and then you just waste a week behind it. And the example I'd like to give for working smart is the idea of have you guys ever seen an ice sculpture? Like these big ice sculptures? The way they do it is they hit it as many times as it takes, but it gets sculpted one step at a time, one hit at a time. And you should have short-term goals and long-term goals, okay? My short-term goal in Jan was to get control over my email. Right? I had 1,000-something unread emails. It was just a nightmare. And we sat with Chitresh, my co-founder. I said, okay, let's see if we could actually keep control of our emails. I now have a maximum of 60 unread emails per day, right? And I try and do it every night. And that worked. That was my goal for Jan, okay? Feb, I'll admit, stuff got out of control. I didn't really have any goals. But I still have my emails under control. And for March, I haven't really set anything just yet, but I'm sure actually, my to-do list is actually quite reduced. So you need to try and set short-term goals, even a week or today. What are you going to do? And see if that's too difficult. At 8 a.m. every morning with Chitresh, I call him and I say, this is my to-do. What's your to-do? And at the end, we sit, or we call if we're in different places in the country, and we say, well, I've achieved this and I've achieved that. Okay. And finally, and I'll leave you on this, there is no such thing as luck. Absolute truth. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That is it. Thanks for listening, and I can take any questions.